Hello, welcome back to part two of Feminism, done by Story of Our Lives. So, feminism, it's a deep-rooted issue that stems way back in history, and it's been tried and tried again, almost as much as communism has, and it never worked. There's been tons of proof it never worked. These ideals, they cause division, and sometimes lead to split up families. But I've been doing tons of research with this whole feminism ideal stuff, and I've done about 10 years of social experiments online. And when I was starting out, I didn't realize it until, later. But I discovered that the people online who you just can't stand, can't tolerate them, they're just unrelatable, unlikable. That's their life. They can't make it in the real world, so that they're online, and that's their reality. And me and a few other people I met all went through countless betrayals, countless, where you have all these women that you meet, and they look good on paper. Basically, they talk up a good game. They engage you. They make these false promises about who they are, and then you give it sometimes 24 hours, sometimes 15 minutes, and things change,
Isn't it though? I mean, I've been hearing that it's like we're living in two different realities. Like these people have their own reality and then there's us, and it's not.
So that falls on the category of online was an escape from this
right.
reality.
Yeah.
And then you had people that brought this reality, their baggage, into the escape.
So now people want to escape
everything. It's just horrible.
Yeah.
There is no escape in reality because you have it wherever you go, and it's not the reality you want to be around.
Right.
So, I mean, you could argue that people don't find other people likable. That's fine, but there's no communication. It's just straight up blocking. One issue that a lot of people have with women online is that they'll be blocking you for holding them accountable. They'll be blocked for simply challenging their opinion or asking questions. The difficult part of that is that the women will be the one asking personal questions. Ones that you don't start off a conversation with. I got blocked a lot for starting boundaries. I tested that idea because women are all about boundaries, right? So I tested that. I put down boundaries, What are your limits? I would always say ghosting, blocking, lack of communication, stuff like that. Gone. Why? Well, they don't like being held accountable. And that's a tale as old as time. But recently, I've been getting messages out of nowhere. I don't talk to these people. I just do my own thing. But I get these messages, and they usually start out with, "What city do you live in?" You don't start off a conversation like that. Furthermore, if you went through my content, you would easily see I don't hide that information. But I always respond with classified because it's none of their business. And the conversation progresses. They don't let off. Even if I say I'm not interested, I say no. They don't understand what that means. I even asked them, I thought you people were about no means no. What's this? So later on, it's revealed that they are OF models. And I had no interest. In the beginning, I didn't know any better, I just thought I'd have a conversation. And then they would slide that link in, and it's just like, no, I'm not interested. So then I started telling them beforehand, I don't engage with OF models. It didn't stop them. And finally, when I find that out, I just stop responding. I ghost them, all right, delete the conversation because there's no point. But even when I delete the conversation, they still come back. So I'm thinking of maybe possibly blocking them. I don't like blocking people.
But wasn't that the beauty of Charlie Kirk, though? Debating face to face, so
Yeah.
they can't block you,
Yeah.
they can't ghost you, and they're
Yes,
forced to
yes.
sit there and take it. I love that.
I've been debating people since junior high. Um, we didn't have an official battle of the sexist thing. It was just that this girl spoke up, and she was in my friend group, and I disagreed with her. And I was arguing her points about men versus women, and she got upset, and she was talking about how all men just get fat. And
Wow.
I'm like, well, it's Ivy, so what do you expect?
No.
But I was like, not all men get fat. I'm not going to get fat. Well, injuries happen, and I got fat. But that's fixable. It's the lack of motivation that keeps men fat, or they hate themselves, so they stay fat.
Or they're married to a feminist and
They don't
lost all hope.
Yeah. They don't feel hot anymore,
Yeah.
so what's the point?
By the way, yes, no matter what age men are, they want to be desirable.
Yeah.
And if they're not by the one person, their wife, yeah, that's an easy way to destroy a man.
Especially when they usually would have given up anything for that person, and odds are they probably did. So, men self-sacrifice a lot. They sacrifice a lot and don't get any credit for it. And they don't talk about it either because then they're opening up. So, her argument was easily torn apart. The problem was, I was noticing that my girlfriend at the time was behind her. And I'm like, interesting. So, after the debate, her last comment, and I just was walking away at the time, her last comment was, if we went back in time, you would be a slave. No, I'm Japanese American. I would not be a slave. That doesn't apply here. But again, I was 14. I don't know how old she was, probably 13. But I later on asked my girlfriend at the time, I'm like, so why were you with her and not with me? Well, I thought I should be with the rest of the girls. Oh, okay. So you want to be wrong. Okay, that's fine. Because even she had to admit that wasn't a good argument, and that's not a good argument. And then it just kind of progressed later on. But I didn't enjoy it until I watched how Charlie did it. Watching how he engaged people and was still respectful, he showed me that you can have a decent civil conversation without being rude, mean, derogatory, or making the person feel stupid in a self-deprecating kind of manner, you know?
What I loved was watching Night Court with you. And your response, I like the way Harry deals with these situations. He's so just calm and understanding. And I think we've lost that. Men can be sensitive. They can be gentle in their conversations with people and still get the same point made across. I think we're losing that in the men. The men I think they're pushed past the breaking point at this point. There's no more tolerance. We're done.
Harry gave me a good example of how you can solve conflict by being nice and understanding, and
loving
how it a soft word turns away wrath. Okay, a soft word turns away wrath. He showed me that before watching Night Court and Charlie. I had a punch first, ask questions later mentality, and
he's toned it down quite a bit.
I learned a lot from watching the example. It's one thing to tell somebody, hey, you should do this. But without the example, you don't, see how it's possible or how it should be done. So,
but with some of these women he is talking to, they don't take no for an answer, and you almost have to be mean to them because they don't get it. It's not registering with them.
Yeah. So, I've been around women my whole life. I had more female friends than male friends. The men were jealous of me, and I've talked about that in my other videos on X and TikTok at the time. But I've always loved women, always respected them, up until the feminist point. You know, when you are defending a woman because she said no, right, and the guy's not taking no for an answer. If you defend her and you're using violence, because it escalated at that point, it became an ick. And I'm like, well, so what do you expect? You want to call the cops? That promotes more violence. You say no promotes violence. Your logic makes no sense. And so after that, I stopped defending them because I'm not going to deal with any repercussions at all. I mean, how many stories have we heard where a man has saved a woman's life and he got sued for touching her? I'm not going to do that, you know? Um, I believe in doing the right thing regardless of the consequences, yes. But when the consequences don't justify the means, no, it's pointless. It's, it's an unjust cause at that point. So, women have made it to be risky to be a hero. And that's why feminism has also killed heroism as well. So, I've run into so many girls, so many women, and they were let down by not just their family, their parents mostly, but also society. And then you throw in feminism and these other ideals, and they didn't have a chance.
Well, and my question in my other video was, to what end is the feminism movement going to go?
Yeah.
You lost your sports, you lost your bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see the end game for this thing? Because, eventually it's going to die. Eventually enough women are going to say, I want to get married and I want to have a family and this doesn't work for me.
And by that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
The issue you're going to run into with feminism right now is that this is not the feminism that was first brought here. Okay? Fighting for women's rights was very important at that time, especially because they felt they were being treated unfairly. These days, the women have taken that little bit of knowledge and ran with it in the complete opposite direction with the extreme ideals of feminism. And I was wondering if there were female philosophers, because I haven't heard of any. I know more men that have been philosophers than women. So I looked it up. There's about 20 female philosophers, but they're identified as some are identified as a Marxist, and the other one was a extreme feminist. Not what you want as a person in charge of your ideals. So the influence they have, the impact they have, could be very detrimental. And I didn't like that. Sure, men can be just as dangerous, but it's important to find the right ones to listen to. Deep conversations and deep thinking is typically a male trait. It's typically what men do, especially when they're not doing anything. And that's why when a man is zoned out, he's usually thinking, problem solving, something that he's thinking about. So that's why when we say nothing, we're doing nothing. In our minds, we're doing something. But some men have that ability, some men don't. Others are just doing absolutely nothing. But my dad and I were usually figuring something out, or something came to our minds, or thinking, is this possible? But I think women are very special. I think women need to be protected, and their women's spaces need to be respected. The issue is women have voted for those to be removed.
Yeah.
Women voted to be treated as dogs. I don't know if you know that, but that's why the whole furry thing's a thing. Okay? Women voted for that. Women voted for their rights to not mean as much as they used to. See, just because a man's rights and a woman's rights were different didn't mean they didn't have rights. Okay? But when you try and merge them, that means that neither is special anymore. Because it's common, all the same.
Oh, the equality thing.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. God made each one of us to have a role to play.
Mm-hmm.
And in God's image of the covenant of marriage, balanced everything out. If there's competition between a man being or a woman being a man, there is no competition. We are the weaker species. We don't have the muscle mass. We don't have the ability to do what men can do. Even just brain-wise, logically speaking, we are not there. And so, again, this is Satan blurring the lines of sexes and of what marriage is. And it's very sad to see how much damage has been done to our society, our children, with the school system. I mean, I'm curious. These, the glorifying of the prostitution. How much of the school system is responsible for that? Yeah. Where has the school system played a role? Where are the studies showing what these school systems have done to our children's brains? I've done a study on what, adult content does to men's brains. What in the world could it possibly do to children whose brains haven't even developed yet? Yep. That's my question. And no one's discussing this. No one's even addressing this. This is a huge issue. I mean, yeah, I don't want it in the school systems, but the damage has been done. What is going to be the repercussions of that?
Yep. So, when you get down to it, women have voted for their own demise.
Yes.
Okay. And when we were discussing earlier about what could happen to women losing their rights, well, women have abused their rights. Now, sure, men have as well, but here's the difference. Men did not abuse their rights to ruin marriage, culture. Okay, they didn't ruin the home the way women have by doing the abortions as birth control.
The damage that men have done, they can rise up above it.
Yeah.
Women, you're stuck.
It's fixable for men. Okay. The women, it's awful. I mean, think about it. The court system favors the woman. Okay. False allegations, they ruin a man's life for about 10 years. It takes him 10 years to clear his name. Okay. If he's falsely convicted or even accused. We know this from Johnny Depp's case. Okay. We know this from other cases. And we also have followed a lot more examples of how many men have gone to prison for all these different allegations that the woman later on says never happened. So, there is a huge issue when you prioritize a woman over a man when women say that they don't have anything unique or special. They want equal rights. That's a right that they have. And I really didn't understand why we went so hard with the whole privilege thing, white privilege, okay? A privilege is something that can be taken away. That's what a privilege is, okay? Rights are given. The rights are not supposed to be a privilege. Rights are not supposed to be removed. But in extreme cases like this, that's what the talking point is. Is it actually okay to do? And I don't agree with removing all rights from a group of people, okay? What I believe in doing is finding out who is responsible for the crime, who's responsible for abusing their rights, and dishing out the punishment that fits that crime, okay? I don't think all women should lose their rights, even though jokingly it's funny and it should happen. But being serious, no. Seriously speaking, it should not affect the innocent people who didn't vote for the rights to be removed or didn't vote for men to be in women's spaces.
Well, and so we have to look at it this way. And somebody had a really good point. Is there some way to test, how you're going to vote as a woman? What's your way of voting? Because if you're looking at policy, you're fine.
Yep,
we want you to vote.
Yeah.
But if you're voting purely on feelings and you actually don't have a legitimate reason why you're voting for someone, and if you look at some of the videos of these independent journalists asking the question, they don't know what to say. It's almost just like the ones that did the protests.
Yeah.
They don't really know why they're there. They don't have a stance, but they're there. goodness gracious, what have we come to?
It's frustrating, very frustrating, because it throws out all reason, all logic out the window. I mean, you have women who want to Sharia law without even knowing what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and they changed the meaning of that. I did my research on that too.
Same with fascists, same with racists, all of it.
They changed so many things.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I don't believe in labeling. We don't, as Christians, want to label anybody.
No.
Okay? That's how you know the difference between someone that practices the faith versus somebody who just says they are Christian. So.
And the other thing that's missing too, and when I go back to the churches, equipping people to follow the Lord, equipping them to believe in what does it mean to take up the cross. Yep. They don't know what that means. When he was in youth group, he asked, I think it was a girl, what her walk with God was like.
Oh, yeah.
Yet she didn't even know how to answer that. It's like, whoa, what?
She was with the church for 3 years and didn't know how to answer that question. That's what we're talking about when we can see cracks in the foundation that lead to something way worse.
And another thing is, when you read the Bible, it's not just reading it for the knowledge, it's applying it to your life so that it becomes who you are.
Yeah.
And so that you understand, okay, this is my identity because I am a believer in Jesus Christ and I have decided to walk the walk and talk the talk.
Yep.
And it's ingrained in you. Every Bible verse that you take into consideration, just like the one I read, last episode we did. It's very important that you understand how to equip yourself, which I think Charlie did a phenomenal job of equipping himself with Bible verses so that he was ready on target for any question that came at him. That's the way we're supposed to be. We're supposed to know the word, live the word, be the word. And it's not happening.
No. And the other problem you're facing is authenticity. Okay. Which I'll get into that a little bit later. But you're facing an issue with this. Charlie meant good by this, and I know his meaning. Have lots of kids, get married, but unfortunately, in this day and age, I look at that going, yeah, that's great. It should happen, sure, but without the proper instruction or guidance, not anyone's just going to do. You have to find the one that's right for you. You got to find the one that is your better half. Otherwise, what's the point? And I find that to be very similar to read your Bible. Well, in what context? How should I read it? And so you have to be taught how to read the Bible to understand its meaning and messages. And I've watched some Christians on TikTok go through it and discuss it, and that's great. It's something that churches don't typically discuss and break it down for you and educate you on how to break down the scripture and do studies on it. So there's a lot of issues with that. And then you have interpretations and things, and a lot of people take the Bible literally, some people take it metaphorically, but what it's going to come down to is your walk. What you want. Why are you a Christian? What do you want from it? What do you expect from it? And you're going to find those answers out for yourself. Either with somebody walking alongside you and guiding you, or with you being left alone to figure things out and then realize, well, I don't know. This makes sense, but this doesn't, and I don't know how to talk to it. That happens often. That's why I said in previous videos, if you have a pastor or a shepherd leading the flock to the desert, is it a good shepherd? No, it's not. If a shepherd leaves a few sheep behind to fend for themselves, is he a good shepherd? No, he's not. So you got to be very careful who you put your trust in. And
I think also, you've also got to keep in mind, be ready to defend what you believe in.
Yep.
And that's the problem that a lot of these women don't have. They don't have the ability to say, yeah, I'm here because I'm fighting for this and I'm fighting for that. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. Great. You have something to believe in. Those that have no clue, why are you just existing? Yeah. You have to be able to, again, I just miss Charlie because that man knew how to defend everything. I believe this because, and he had everything just so well done. And that's how we should all be. I believe this because the Bible says in this and this and this, defend it, believe it, and know it like the back of your hand. And I think, spend your time in the Word. Spend your time going, I'm going to memorize this Bible verse today. I'm going to memorize this Bible verse today. Start challenging yourself. I think that's the biggest problem we have is everybody's just existing. No one's going, I want to be a better this or a better that. Become that. Yeah. Challenge yourself. Be around people that challenge you. That's the problem I'm finding right now. Living where we live, I cannot find like-minded people that challenge me to be better. The only people that do that are my children and my husband. That's all I have. Yep. And it's really sad that this is the world that we live in where your creativity, your bent, everything's not being challenged to make you go, yeah, I want that. Mm-hmm. Motivation's not there. Yeah. Everybody's just following like sheep. And that's what I hated about the churches that we were going to is, we just want you to follow. We don't want you to lead. Yep. And where we were at growing and learning and volunteering, they weren't young people. And they weren't interested in finding people that could replace them, which is what we call a dead church. Yeah. Because you're not finding other people to rise up. Jobs are the same way here. Mm-hmm. I'm finding, okay, you have one person doing the tech for your company. Now, what happens if that person dies? What happens if you have no one to take over that position? You're not even training anybody for that. You have to look ahead and not be stuck in the moment. And that's the problem we're facing is it is so hard to even find a job that you want to go to every day, that you feel committed to because you feel they don't care about you. Yep. And that's the issue we're finding with relationships. We're finding it very difficult, even more so now, to find people that think what we think or think how we think and understand it. I'm finding it really hard to even talk to women to the level that I talk to my kids or my husband. They're not there. They're just existing. They're seeking validation for their feelings and their own thoughts without understanding why they have those thoughts or feelings. It goes much deeper, and that's why I was wondering how many philosophers were women. Yeah. Because from what we can tell right now, there aren't many deep thinkers in the female variety. So it's a very difficult thing to discuss. My husband got lucky with me because I think more like a man than I do a woman. I can put my feelings in check and think logically, which is not very well known for a lot of women. Yeah. But I also have that training from my husband. Trained very young to try and get hold of that. I think you make more of an impact if you have control over your emotions and you can actually just have a civil conversation at a higher level. I have no problems having conversations with men. My trust issues never stemmed from men. They stem from women. And so I have 0 women friends because I don't trust them. See, and that's where I have both. I was burned by both guys and women. Yeah. And I don't talk about guys because it didn't affect me, didn't impact my life as much as women did. Okay? And that's because you're looking through that side for a wife. Yeah. And I couldn't care less if my friends betray me. It happens. Okay, guys are guys. But women, I think, are a little bit more, they leave more of an impact when they hurt you than men do. Men can walk away from you and you're like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. Women will get you where it hurts deep and then leave you. Yep. And those scars take longer to heal. A lot longer. So
A guy will have no problem telling you, I don't like you.
Yeah, right.
Get to your face,
Yeah.
right? And women will do the most deceitful, most
conniving.
Well, I'm thinking biblical terms here. So you have deceitful, and then you have what's another one for deceit that is used often to describe?
All I can think of is the Jezebel spirit. That's all that's coming to my mind when it comes to describing.
There's deceit, and then there's a different one. But point is, they will ruin your reputation. They go after things that cannot be fixed. Okay, once broken, or very hard to mend. So the difference is the tactics that men and women use.
True. Absolutely.
And that's why it makes women a lot less trustworthy.
A lot more dangerous too.
I watched this girl. She made a video. It went viral. And she was with her father, letting everybody know that her father watches her OnlyFans. Or OF. And so she was asking her father, he supports me, he watches. And he's like, yeah. I'm just like, that's so uncomfortable. That's so uncomfortable. I didn't like the thought of that. He's okay with it? I mean,
there's a disconnect.
There's either he felt uncomfortable being recorded like this. He did not look comfortable to me. But having to also admit it.
You failed as a father.
And you watch your daughter?
You failed.
I'm sorry. I remember privacy being a big thing for daughters and fathers to talk about. And that's the boundary that was always set. I could not imagine watching my daughter do those things.
That's a whole level of disgust right there.
It's what people would consider degenerate.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
It's not something that you should ever normalize. So I didn't like that. I really didn't like that. But again, when you're on the internet, you come across a lot of things. Which is why we have so much fun, because I've got X, TikTok, and YouTube, and my dad's got Instagram and YouTube and I think X as well.
Yeah, and I just have YouTube.
So we get different sources and different news information and bits, but it's very, very disconcerting when even parents have lost control. I mean, I watched a lot of skits on this stuff, but to actually see it be real is just
wrong.
Very.
And I'm sorry, I'm not going to just blame the societal issues on, the children. The parents are at fault as well.
Absolutely.
As a homeschool parent, I got lots of flack from the church, mind you, for having homeschool kids. And I didn't care. You have to have an I don't care attitude to stand up for your belief system. And my husband and I had done the research, plus with the last name Hull, we aren't going to put our kids in school. That's just cruel. But also we wanted control over what they were learning, because we were hearing, rumors of even President Clinton doing stuff to the curriculum for kids. And we're like, hell, no. And, the Common Core was the thing that came up. Thanks, Obama. We already knew all this stuff was coming. What we didn't know, and are glad we escaped, was the indoctrination. I mean, it was bad when we were Generation X, okay? We had some indoctrination. It wasn't to the level it is now. But we know we've been lied to. We know I remember my mother-in-law telling me, she put her kids in Christian schools. And she told me, she says, it's funny. My kids come home and tell me their teacher taught them this, which went against what she taught them. And they believe the teacher over her. that taught me a lot already about the influence that these teachers, and look at the women teachers right now, have on the students. It's not good. It's not where your kids should be getting their information from.
No.
School in itself was a bad idea because it took the nuclear family and broke it up. And then it took that authority away from the parents and put it on the teacher.
Yep.
Here we are. This is the results. The parents need control of their children, and one parent needs to be at home with their family. Right now we have an issue with that, but life happens, and I've had to go back to work several times during these kids growing up. But we've worked around it and we've done what we had to do. But parents, get a hold of this and get your kids out of the school system. And I don't even know if there's any redeeming the school systems, especially if you're in a blue state.
I would say also get your kids off of social media. It's meant for adults at this point.
And I'll tell you something else. Our Christian, supposed Christian universities.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to go to George Fox. I'm so angry what George Fox has done with acknowledging George Floyd, but not Charlie Kirk. What?
Yeah.
I'm angry. I'm frustrated. So don't, just because it's a Christian university means nothing. Do your research. Don't put your kids in there. I had a Christian parent talk about putting their kid in a university. And when she came out, she renounced her Christian faith and she went completely the other direction.
It's hurtful.
It'll undo everything you've taught your kids to do and be. Gotta be careful.
There's a lot to unpack about our family. Tons. But what makes us so unique is that alone we're fine. We're still who we are. We're still strong. But you put us together and it can be a huge explosion.
A force to be reckoned with.
Which is why I picked my mom for this project, because we've worked together 6 times now. And
once as a supervisor.
I worked loss prevention at the same store with her. And it got really, really fun. Because you'd try and tell me to do something, and I would say that it was a conflict of interest because she's my mom. But it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at that place until it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah, the theft. I'm starting to see the police take in some control now. That stealing of up to $1,000, unless it went over $1,000, you're not going to get charges pressed on. What was that? Well,
even if they stole and they got arrested, they were let go.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
The attorney didn't want to prosecute.
Our DA.
I found out a lot from the cops that I was talking to. I got a few personal numbers, in fact, so I use those on occasion to, find out the truth about certain laws, but
because they keep changing them. I don't know how your guys' states run, but ours keeps changing our laws without our knowledge.
Our laws are a contradiction as well.
Yeah.
So it's very confusing. So a lot of women have fallen into the trap of OF and not caring about what their parents want or think. If their parents are MAGA, then they automatically disagree with them. But the thing is, the women can't explain why. They have no facts or evidence or anything to back up their claims. They just simply say that, well, it's a cult, or it's this, or it's that, or whatever. They throw out words that it's like they heard and thought, oh, okay.
Program.
They haven't done any research, though. Mm-hmm. And that's why I really enjoyed watching this father and son go to Charlie Kirk and discuss their backgrounds with politics and why they're, not getting along. And Charlie handled it beautifully. Those two walked away happy and understood and had more respect for each other after that.
He got them to find common ground. And I'm still hoping and praying that with the level of craziness that we're living, that we can still find some common ground. Let's not fight over political parties. Let's not fight over the division that's caused our nation to be what it is. Let's find common ground. We all have issues with living in an affordable place. We all have issues in our law enforcement in some degree. We all have issues with our government. We can all come together and agree on these issues and stop making such little minor things be the thing that separates all of us. I mean, I've never seen the level that families have disintegrated over what political party you're associated with. Are you guys kidding me? It's awful. Okay. Trump derangement syndrome needs to go away. You guys need to grow up, and you guys need to understand our country is going to go away. What our country stands for is at risk. Do we really want to fall to socialism and communism and the Muslim Brotherhood? Do we really want to fall down those lines?
For that, I do blame the school systems. They didn't teach history very well. They tried to teach their version of history instead. Yeah. And that's where you get into a lot of issues with rewriting our history. Mm-hmm. The kids that weren't in school, the homeschoolers, they actually got the right textbooks. They got everything to know as history was written. They didn't learn about this false history until they associated themselves with other people over time.
Well, how about you learning the Constitution? Well, Obama was in office.
Oh, and then learning about all the ways he's violating it. Oh, yeah. It was
perfect timing.
It was a huge eye opener. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to believe in him because he was supposed to be different. Talk about change. Well,
he gave us hope. Hope was what he ran.
He didn't give us his definition of change until we learned what that was. So it's something that parents and families should be thinking about. I don't think that politics or religion are grounds to terminate friendships or relationships at all. Because if you do it with that, then that means it didn't really stand very strong to begin with. Okay?
Again, united we stand, divided we fall. And look at our whole entire nation right now. We're divided in such a way that how can we come together and defend this country? How can we come together? And I want to apologize to the World War veterans, World War II veterans yesterday who came out and are so extremely disheartened, losing their fellow troops, the UK and here, and going, why did we defend this country if this is what we have to live? I mean, I personally would rather they be gone and not have to see the level that our countries have gone so far away from what our troops have fought for. And the sad thing is, a lot of them are saying, we thought it was bad when we were fighting for it.
Yeah.
What is this? I'm sad. I'm sad to see the level of disgust and absolutely just dismissal of their statements as if it meant nothing. Are you guys kidding me? These are men who fought for their countries for freedom. Freedom that they see just gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Why did we fight this war then if it didn't have the outcome it's supposed to have? You guys, we've got to wake up.
It's really disheartening being civilians and hearing about what they went through and what they, had to go through to make it.
And how disrespected they are. I mean, our state, I think, said, well, we don't have the money to do a veterans parade. So they did some pride parade instead.
They were discussing it. I don't know if it actually happened.
I don't either, but the fact they even thought that is so disrespectful for the people that have fought for our country and for the sacrifices that they've made.
They have no issue spitting on their graves. They got no issue with, disrespecting them, and it's no different than how they treat us, really.
Yeah.
The governments of every state, they run in their own world. They don't run in reality, and they don't care about us. So why would they care about our veterans? It's obvious. Look at the care they get from coming back from war, coming back at all. They don't get benefits like they're supposed to.
They care more about illegal people that shouldn't be here and who have broken the law to be here.
Yeah.
And That's not okay.
And I shared this video on that too. There was a woman talking about using their Second Amendment rights to attack ICE agents because it's not okay to kidnap people. Well, the Second Amendment was against tyrannical governments. It wasn't against ICE specifically. Okay, it's federal agents you're up against. They have every right as far as anything legal goes and constitutional. So, what you're up against here is ignorant people believing a narrative and not doing their own research to understand, oh, they're criminals. What makes them illegal to be over here? They crossed illegally. That's what it means. They broke the law. They broke federal law. Federal law is more powerful than state law. Okay, go read it.
Yep.
Go look it up.
It's a fact.
Okay. People these days don't do their own research. They just believe whatever they're hearing from news networks, social media, and untrusted sources because it sounds good. It's all about spreading hate. And the people that buy into the hate more than anything else is the left, unfortunately.
And women. More of them are women. I mean, if you look at the writing and you look at, I can't believe what some of these women are willing to do with their bodies to try and stop these ICE agents. Are you guys serious?
Well, we were kind of given a statement on what women were willing to do when they did the whole Free the Nipple movement. Okay? Yeah, and they paraded around naked for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
Oh, don't forget our naked bike ride here in Portland. That's such a wonderful thing that we do. Give me a break with little children. I was so disgusted. Again, lack of morality.
Mm-hmm.
The disintegration of our society. And same playbook. Over and over and over and over. And unless we decide enough is enough and we start saying no more, it's going to keep happening. And I don't care if that means we round up all these Karens and do something with them because they're not contributing to society.
Yeah.
Something needs to get done. Because we need to go back to even after COVID. Is this a new normal? I don't want this to be the new normal. Okay, I'm done. I want to go back to, 1980s if we could, where it was more simpler and everybody understood their positions more so than now.
When you're fighting for peace and freedom, even liberty, okay, there's a price to pay for it. And unfortunately, they keep wanting us to pay the same price over and over and over again. They can't sleep well enough alone.
Yeah.
And none of us are extremists over here. We're looking for civil solutions, honestly, because we don't want to see any more bloodshed, no more.
We don't want a civil war. Let's put it that way. If we can, I'm going to quote Rodney King here. Can't we all just get along? I mean, there's got to be a common ground that we can all compromise and get along.
Yep.
But when you have one extreme fighting another, and there is no compromise, and it's one side or the other, which is what they're trying to do.
Yep.
We got to find something that we all can believe in and agree on. And stop it now.
Yeah.
I mean, do we care about our country enough to get rid of the Muslims? Do we care enough about our country to go back to patriotism being the number one thing that we all believe in and fight for? I think the majority of us do. It's the brainwashed ones we got to be careful of because they seem to be the most violent. They seem to be the most irrational. And we need level-headed people out there saying, we're done and we need to start getting the adults back in play.
Yeah.
Get rid of the kids because they're not functioning right. And, get back to the real reason why we're all here. Otherwise, if we fall, everyone's falling. That's the whole point.
We also used to have a lot more understanding of what's dangerous and what's not.
Yeah.
And the lines have been blurred for so many years now that a lot of people don't believe that wrong exists. They don't believe that anything is wrong as long as they believe it's right.
Yeah.
And
it's all backwards.
It's delusion. So you're up against a lot of different things these days. And it used to be non-existent.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to have one more video to do. Stick around. It's going to be a good one.
It will be.